everybody. Welcome back to the Unfiltered Podcast. Thanks for joining us. As always, my name is the Keb.
St. Joe and the Hizzy.
And we got a good one for you tonight, guys. We are, St. Joe and I are Beebsless tonight. So if you were tuning in to hear about the good Christian life, no, not tonight. Not tonight. This is the takeover right here. But we got a good one for you tonight. Hey, St. Joe, how you doing this week?
Doing good, Kev. Doing good. Baseball keeping you busy?
Currently, the Atlanta Braves 2021 World Series champions are. I get $50 every time I say that. By the way, are currently losing 3-0 to the New York Mets. You know, one thing I wanted to bring up with you, is that we have had a lot of big guests on this program. You know, we had DC Glenn from Tag Team. Remember that guy?
Tag Team in Effect.
Yeah.
Whoop, and there it is.
Party people. And we had those comedians like Funny Mane, big 4 million followers on YouTube, and Jeremy Nunez, big Netflix and Amazon special comedian. You know, not quite like yours truly here, but you know, but
we haven't had anybody infamous though, have we?
You know, I bet our listeners, though. I bet our listeners, our filthies, they're gonna like this one the best, you know. And I've been looking forward to this for a long time. We have a special guest tonight, folks. Our guest is a very accomplished podcaster, so accomplished that she helps other podcasters be successful. She has, I'm willing to bet, some cool stories. Not gonna let the cat out of the bag on that one. We are excited to hear maybe some of them tonight. I don't know. I want everyone to give a warm welcome to our guest. She is from the podcast Next on Stage One and Project Podcast with, Next on the Unfiltered Stage is Pixie. What's up?
What's up, guys? I'm so excited to be here. Glad that you guys reached out. I was just hanging out with another podcaster, giving some help. So yeah, I've got some stories for you guys if you want to know more about what I do.
Yes.
We do.
I'm sure we've got a few questions.
Maybe.
Let me go over the rules of the show for you here real quick. The rules of the show are there are no fucking rules. You know, if you've listened to us for 5 minutes, you could say that. Basically, what me and St. Joe have done in the past is try to make Beebs facepalm the whole for an hour or so. So there are no rules. Feel free to say whatever you want. As you say on your podcast, the spicier, the better. And we'll just go from there. We typically have 3 segments, one that St. Joe runs, one that Beebs runs, one that I run. But tonight we're throwing that all out the window. We're gonna kick it to St. Joe and see what he's got up for you.
Yeah, as Mr. J says, this one's going to be down and dirty. So, yeah, it's weird to be like seeing you, hearing you, and not hearing him. So it's really weird, but cool. So yeah, thanks so much for coming on and gracing us with your presence. It's pretty cool. So,
do you want me to tell your listeners what my main podcast is all about?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us a little idea. Keb and I know well what it's about, but yeah, give an idea of what it is about, please.
Well, I'm a retired entertainer that has more than 23 years as an adult entertainer. As a stripper, I've done a lot of different things. My co-host, Mr. J, as you alluded to, he has more than 20 years himself. So we have combined 40 plus years as adult entertainers, and our whole show is terrible, trashy stories. So I'm going to fit right in, guys.
No, I wouldn't say they're terrible and trashy.
Sometimes.
So that leads me to a really great question. Okay, so I'll just go right into my kind of cup of joe here with that. Is that when you describe your show, you're not necessarily advocating stripping. You are more or less, because it's a very gray line. When I listen to your show, it's a very gray line there. So you're not necessarily saying, come along, be a stripper. You're more or less telling the stories of what happens in the strip club. These are the, so to speak, like for one instance, you had a DJ on, you had a doorman on, you had a what you call a baby stripper, and so forth. So you start up and you
She also
tell.
had an escort on.
That was a good episode.
That was a damn
But
good episode.
so you're advocating on what happens in the day in the life of a stripper, and then telling your stories of, here's how I kind of fit into the life of. Correct?
Right. We're not saying I want you to be a stripper. We're saying, hey, look, this is a cautionary tale. This is what people in the life have to deal with from day to day, and sometimes it's different. Sometimes it's chaotic. Sometimes they end up down the wrong path, if you will. And it's kind of one of those. I don't ever want. If I could tell my 18-year-old self not to strip, then I would not want my 18-year-old self to strip. But I had to because of certain things that happened to me.
Right.
And so it's more of a, now that I'm who I am, I can basically say, this is what I experienced. And it wasn't all bad. Some of it was bad, but the majority, I had a good run.
Right. Right. And so then, going off of that, then if you could go back and do it all again, would you?
Yes, actually, I would. Just certain circumstances, there's not a lot in my life I would change.
Cool.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, strippers are people too. People. I mean, there's somebody's daughter, and you know what?
Or son.
Or son this day and age, and you know what? They're fun to look at, and don't kid yourself if you're not in there looking at them. So,
right.
I mean, everybody's been there, and yeah, it is there. So, all right, next question. And I know you've covered some of these on your topic, so forgive me if you're repeating yourself. But what is it with the names? Why do strippers tend to have their names after cars? Everybody's car, Mercedes, Lexus.
I think that has to do with Al Bundy. I really do. Married with Children had a lot of like Mercedes, Elantra, and strippers, they're not really imaginative. They don't really know. They just kind of say, oh, I like diamonds, emeralds, rubies, pearls, and they go after the common names. Once in a while, you'll get a stripper who will think it's a great name, and then it's a total train wreck. I've known 3 felonies, but that's not how they pronounced it. They pronounced it felonies. Felony.
Yeah, probably not a good...
Never a good name for a stripper.
No.
Or Kitty is a terrible name for a stripper.
What's the most common name?
Probably Diamond. I've known a lot of diamonds in my span.
Yeah.
St. Joe has a place that he frequents, and he's made a friend named Martika.
Yeah, Martika. She needs some help. There's some children that she really needs to help down in Mexico. But, I mean, yeah, it's an orphanage that we tried to raise some GoFundMe for. But, nice girl.
Make no mistake. We did a whole episode about you and your son sitting across from the goddamn strip club in Tampa, which is like the mecca of strip clubs, counting all the goddamn Lamborghinis out there.
Yeah, well, he had some questions, and I had to answer them for him.
I was on my way to the church bingo parlor.
Of course you were,
and I got lost one time.
Yeah, of course you were.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. What has 100 balls and attracts old women?
Oh, shit.
Bingo.
Okay.
All right. Anyway,
I can tell jokes just with the best of them. They're not very podcast friendly though.
Well, we got to get dad jokes in with Beebs being gone. That's his forte.
That's a bad forte to
have. Other things, I'm sure you've seen some arrests that happen in the nightclub. does it happen on the daily or does it happen?
I'm going to say it happens on the weekly, not the daily.
Okay.
The door guys like Steve, the episode that you listen to, that's their probably last call is the police. You know, they want to handle it. They want to make sure everybody's having a good time. And when there's somebody, it's a lot of de-escalation and a lot of people talking to one another because they really want to make sure that if they can de-escalate, send them on their way, send them in a cab, do anything other than, you know, have the person arrested, because it does happen. You know,
Right.
It's really about talking people down off of what they're doing.
Right. And then, I mean, on your last episode here, your most recent one, I mean, you said that you were kind of looking for a purpose.
Yep.
So I think that you have a purpose. And my question is where do strippers go? Where do strippers go when they die? Where do strippers go when they're done? Where do they go as, like, you know, they just decide and say, "Hey, I'm done." And
a lot of
like, is there a recovery stage? Is there
No, there's no recovery stage. A lot of them are entrepreneurs. A lot of them are business women. A lot of them, because of the way that they can navigate with people, they're in healthcare. There's a lot of them that have gotten degrees, and lots of beautiful, smart women have come out of being dancers. Sometimes it's true that, yes, they are going to college for a degree. And so it's usually just a stepping stone. Most dancers don't make it past like 2 or 3 years.
Okay. All right. Well, and I say that, but you said you needed a purpose. Now, I've got to imagine that your audience has got to include a lot of adult entertainment members. So I'm sure that they're listening to your podcast and saying, "Hey, here's the experience. Here's the background that I have." So in a sense, you do have a purpose that you're saying, "Here's my podcast. They're listening to me. They're getting this experience. They're learning something. They're taking it in and they're using that." So, you know what I mean? I mean,
yeah.
When you were saying, "Hey, I'm looking for something," I think you found it.
I think podcasting and public speaking is my purpose. I think helping other people learn how to do podcasting is something I just don't. I'm in my 40s. I'm still trying to figure out things, and sometimes I'm thinking, well, maybe podcasting isn't my purpose, but a purpose doesn't have to be something that you make money on. It could just be something that fills your day and makes you happy. And so podcasting fills my day and makes me happy. Maybe purpose wasn't the right word. Maybe it's job is what I should say.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I mean, it's kind of like us. I mean, Keb and I have talked about this in BZ4, is that this is what we do on a Tuesday night, kind of a getaway. And then we get it out, and we've been doing it now for, I don't know, what is it, Keb, about a year now that we've all been together?
I don't know about you, but it's fucking therapy for me, man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I got some shit I need to get off my chest. You know, from the weekends that I have, and then you roll into a Monday, and then, you know, Tuesday nights are just, you know, and I don't know how it is in your house, but in my house, I mean, it's podcast night, you know,
right,
and and you know, you get home from whatever you're doing during the day with St. Joe. It's being a vampire. With me, it's not much, and you know, that's you know, that's what it is. I mean, I never Pixie. I don't know if you know the origins of art, but we literally created this from 3 guys having a conversation in a parking lot and decided to, hey, maybe we should record it, you know? And it's fucking nonsense, man. And you know, it's fun. And then when we listen to like something like Next on Stage 1, where you guys, not only, to me, it's not only informational, but you guys, I mean, you've seen some shit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you really have seen some stuff. And I forget which episode it was, but you and somebody else, like some frat guys or something like that, kept inviting you back to their place.
Oh yeah, with the money just everywhere. Oh,
now how much money are we talking about?
between the 2 days, more than $2,000 per girl.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be
allegedly.
Allegedly. I love how you guys always say that. You're like, allegedly, there was.
We love that word on this show. Hey, Jesus rose from the dead, allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly. I mean, but it has to be a lucrative career. I mean, otherwise people wouldn't stay in it.
Right. The money is fast, fun, and free. Like, it just comes and goes. And I think that's probably one thing that I would have told myself to do is manage my money better. I didn't manage my money. I was buying $80 outfits. I was $80 high heel shoes. I wasn't really taking care of my money. Sure, all of the bills got paid, but instead of buying a whole bunch of junk, I could have had a bigger house. I could have had a Lamborghini.
Right.
But the money was great. I was able to take care of business without having to have a significant other, especially in the beginning.
No, you got lucky because you met Big D, right?
I didn't meet Big D until 10 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So for your listeners that's listening in, Big D is my husband and my sound guy for my podcast. Mr. J is one of my very good friends that I've known since 2006.
Right. Yeah. Right. But okay, I didn't realize that I thought it went back further.
No.
From there. But okay. 10 years. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it can happen.
It can happen, but the dating scene, obviously, in the clubs you're dating the DJ guy, you're dating the door guy. No, you don't want any of that stuff because they're dating everybody.
Well, how tall are you, St. Joe?
6'4".
You're as tall as Steve the doorman.
Okay.
So Steve the doorman is a big brick of a man.
Right.
And everybody's like that. Like the DJ.
I'm gonna call St. Joe that from now on. You're a big brick of a man.
Big brick of a man. And the DJ, he looks not Frank, the one that we had on. Our DJ he's definitely looks like he could belong in the 70s. He's got the silver gray hair.
Right.
Just not really. Most of them, their dating years are over. Kind of, and if they are dating, they're probably dating some of the interesting strippers. So, the prospects are low.
Right. Gotcha. Cool. Keb, what questions you got?
Well, I've got a couple thousand ones. Pixie, I spent some time in the restaurant business. Now, I am no way, shape, or form comparing your business with the restaurant business, but I do know this, especially with female servers, that if people would think that their server was being nice to them, and that meant that they wanted to, for lack of, I'll just say, fuck them. And they would think that. I have to imagine that is to the nth degree in an establishment like yours.
Oh yeah, the charms that stripper puts on an individual to get at their wallet and their money knows no bounds. Like, how's your day? How have you been? And they're just like touching your shoulder and just working their magic because they know that what they really want is your wallet. So and customers, sometimes they take it, they don't understand. She doesn't really like you. She only likes your wallet. And it's hard to let that know. Cause you can make friends with strippers. It takes a lot of money, and I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but it does. It can happen. It doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah. They had a great episode on the one called The Mark. I think it was called The Mark, or finding a person that walks in at a newbie at a strip club, just like, oh, that guy's got a lot of money, and we're gonna get it.
Oh yeah.
That brings up a good point. I don't know. I'm 47 years old. St. Joe is legally 86.
Yeah.
But when I was in high school in the early 90s, there was a movie that you could go to at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and people would act it out. It was called the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, some way, the first time you went, they knew. They knew that you had not been to there, and they messed with you the entire time. And I'm talking like as a 18-year-old, 19-year-old white kid from the suburbs of Jacksonville, Florida. Okay. Getting rubbed up on by a transvestite was not what I thought was a fun night on Fridays or Saturdays, again, in Jacksonville, Florida. So I can imagine that somebody walking into your establishment for the first time, never been in there, do they have a big target on their back?
Yeah, it's like chum in the water. You just start seeing strippers circling. Circling. Yeah. I can tell when somebody's never been into a strip club before.
Wow. That's
they got that look on their face of just pure like, oh, there's naked women over there.
I see boobies. Yeah. And then they'll have their money in their hand, and you can see they have like their whole stack of like $21 bills, and they got it gripped by both thumbs, and they're just like, I'm going to go tip her. And they got their drink, and they're just really excited because they have it right up underneath their chin. And then they get up to the stage, and they're just peeling them off one at a time, putting them on the stage. They're listening to the music. They're just like, just eyes on the prize. They're just like, here's another $1. And they're just peeling them back. And I'm like, yeah, give it to me.
They have no clue. No clue. Then you got the old veterans that are sitting down there, and the doorman has to come over and say, look, either tip or get off. Yeah. Get out of there.
Well, usually...
we all have one of those. Everybody has one of those friends that's just never going to grow up, right? No. And if you don't know which friend that is of yours, guess what? You're it. But I have a friend who we walked into an establishment. This was years ago before I was married. And like everybody knew his name. Like, what the fuck have you been doing, dude? And like had like his own table and he was obviously a regular, obviously. And I'm certain that you guys have your share of those that, what they drink or whatever.
Oh yeah. Tons of people. Like, there's a whole corner section at my bar where like all of the regulars that don't tip, but they drink a lot, they just sit there. And as soon as you open the door, there's just a wall of people that are just standing there, just doing a whole bunch of shots, and they never leave. Ever.
Now, I can understand with shots never leaving because, we like the bourbon around here, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyhow, next question. So again, bad comparison, but you may or may not know I'm in the entertainment business as well. And on the circuit that I run in, there are always, between comics, there's always like the mom, or like the dad, somebody who's been doing it for forever and comes up and, Keb, maybe you shouldn't say the F word so much, and Keb, do you really have to call women a cunt? Just stuff like that. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you would get less hecklers or people leaving during your set. Things like that. I'm sure that you guys have that as well? It seems to be everywhere, in whether you're an actor, comic, or anywhere in the entertainment.
I'm the mom. I'm
Are
the
ya?
mom. But I'm not like, my purpose is to make sure that that they're making money, that they're not sitting back on their phone, that they're out there, like, not complaining. So, I don't really tell people not to do things. I tell them, hey, instead of that, why don't you try this? Because it looks like, that guy's probably going to be your ticket, And I've always wanted to try comedy. Always.
Oh, I'll tell you this. You get one laugh at one joke that no one has ever told before. And it's like a drug. Yeah, I mean, it really is. It really is. For somebody like me that's along those lines, I mean, I'll tell you this. I got a quick story for you. And I'm not going to tell you who it is, but you know who he is. He's been in movies. He's been on a major television program. We're at the comedy club one night, and I go in the bathroom, and somebody is at the urinal, so I have to go into the stall. And major comedian, major comedian, and I go into the bathroom, and there is white residue on the back of the bathroom. So I come out, and I see the owner of the club, and I'm like, man, that ain't me. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that ain't me. Immediately, the headliner, this guy, goes back into that stall and then comes back out in a lot better mood than he went in. I'm just saying. That runs rampant in the entertainment business. It really does. It kind of goes hand in hand. Some people, started it early. I'm glad to say that I drink. That's about it. And I'm sure it runs rampant through you guys.
Oh man, the stories I could tell of the sugar boogers. Strippers really enjoy being able to spend that quick money on stuff real quick. And I gotta tell you, the women's bathroom is not cleaner than the men's bathroom, and they're still doing that. And it is absolutely gross. And so we have a lot of school lockers in the back room. And if they were smart, I'm not saying they are, they would probably pick an open locker to where they can see the door and use the locker at the same time, to practice their craft instead of a gross toilet seat. But they're not smart, because as soon as they go in there to use the toilet seat or the counter, and almost every dollar that you've ever had has either been in a butt crack or been used for drugs, just so you know, unless it's brand new, it has something on it. And most of the girls that don't think about what they're doing, they often get caught. So it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Catholics. When you don't know what you're doing, you often get caught. St. Joe.
Every episode.
They'll be pulling their money out of their little dancer bag to give tip out to the door guy, and a bag will just drop. And they'll be like, "That's not mine. I didn't see that." Or they'll try and step on it like they're real sneaky and stuff. And the boss will just cross his arms and say, "That's not yours." And they're like, "Oh no, quick. I was just disposing it for somebody else." And he won't even touch it. He'll pick up the trash can and hold it for them to throw it into the trash can, because he won't even. Wow. Just get rid of it.
Wow.
Pixie, here we have an establishment in Jacksonville where, if you don't know where that is, keep driving east until you get nowhere and then drive further. And if you hit the Atlantic Ocean, you've gone too far.
A little too far.
Yeah, a tad bit too far. Basically, get on I-10 and take it to the end. Anyhow, we have an establishment here called Wackos. Okay. And for those of you locally that are listening, we have a huge local following. I am not endorsing this place one bit. So keep your fucking Twitter DMs to a minimum. You know, my Twitter is St. Joe at UNF Pod. You know, so keep it down. I'm not endorsing this place. I hear, you know, it's got a great hamburger, so I've heard. So, but this place, what's that?
They have the meats.
Yeah. Oh, they've got the meat, all right. I've seen the people leaving that place, but
really, are they Catholic? Is that church? I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm not. But this place literally like clockwork. Like if it's been 90 days and it hasn't been raided by somebody, ATF, FBI. I mean, and it's not like it's not in a good part of town, but it's not in a bad part of town either. It's just kind of like a, I don't know if I want to be caught there at midnight kind of deal, but it's cool to like be there at like 7. You know, it's not good, but it's not bad. You know, it's not like, I mean, Jacksonville's got its share of, if you walk down the street, you're going to get shot, you know? So, but this place gets raided all the time. Have any establishment that you've ever been in been raided? Like by like?
Not by the police. And, usually it's because somebody did something stupid. Like there was a bar brawl or somebody saw a gun. Usually there's something that is leading up to. So, but it has been like there have been other establishments. There was a club that was north of my club before it got renovated, made really pretty and upper class now. But its shady roots is that it used to be basically a whack shack. And when it got raided,
wait, a what?
A whack shack. A whack shack.
What's that? Can you explain that specifically for our listeners?
Do you want me to go nice and slow?
There's a glory hole in every.
Yeah.
What's a glory hole?
Oh, come on, Kev.
I thought you were Catholic.
I'm not Catholic. He's Catholic.
Oh, God damn it. You messed up.
That's funny.
Yeah. It was an interesting establishment. It wasn't a very good one. And then after the raid, it got closed down. A lot of girls, they got in trouble. A lot of the managers got in trouble because they knew what was happening. And then it came back new and better and without all of that seedy past. It was like a whole makeover.
Yeah, those are crazy.
But some of us still remember.
Yeah. Keb, saying wackos though, what's the worst named, if you can say it, named club that you've been in? You know, everybody has one. Like I can think of one in my hometown. It's called the Rear End. I don't know if I want to dance at the Rear End, but you know, wackos is pretty bad. There's always one though that's been like, like the Bunny Ranch. That's a great one. Everybody knows the Bunny Ranch out in Vegas. It's allegedly. I've heard of the Bunny Ranch, but it's like little things like that you're like, okay, well, what's the worst named one that you can think of?
Well, here in Colorado, the worst one was called the Paper Tiger, but now it's burnt down. But before it got burnt down, it was called Club X, and that was a terrible name for a strip club too. So Paper Tiger was pretty bad. So
Paper Tiger, all right.
You know, I want to know how many, and it may be a corporation, but there seems to be, as I travel around, on my quest to bring the Bible to the world.
Yeah.
I can't even say that with a fucking
I know you can't.
I've traveled. There seems to be a lot of these establishments that are named Cafe Risque or something to that effect. Maybe it's just the Southeast. And also, we were talking about names of the dancers earlier, but it seems that there's a lot of like cheetahs, and like in Atlanta. The main place is called the Cheetah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like it's like actually like a nice place, You know, I mean, so I've heard, and it's allegedly, you know, and but a couple of Braves players have been caught in there, and that's kind of my next question, if you can, which I'm not big on name dropping, but I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't ask the question, what's the biggest celebrity you caught in a joint like this?
I tried to sell a Voltron action figure to Ivan from Five Finger Death Punch.
Nice.
At the bar. He said no, but I still tried. It was it was a slow night. There was only a couple of us working, and Five Finger Death Punch used to come into the club all of the time and cause a lot of shenanigans. They were super laid back. They weren't the ones that caused the shenanigans. It's the dancers, when they find out somebody important is in the club, they just like lose their minds. And then the celebrity just wants to drink. They just want to drink. They just want to see tits. They just want to have a normal conversation with people. And so here's me with my action figure. At first he was interested, and then he's like, no, thank you. I think he was pitying me. Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Now, that's another thing I got. I got one more industry question. Here a second, but you seem to be a big time collector.
I am. Yes.
What is it all that you collect, or do you collect? Like, I collect T-shirts. Like I have a shirt on right now that says "Don't touch me, peasant." You know, I collect funny T-shirts, you know, and ones that, you know, kind of like, I have one that has "Go fuck yourself" written in Chinese. You know, I mean, just stuff like that where people will be like, "What the hell is he wearing?" You know, because I think that, especially when it comes to comedy, the biggest thing and the number one target that everybody should laugh at is themselves. You know, because if you can't laugh at yourself, then you have no fucking sense of humor, and you can say, "Joe, wait for it, go fuck yourself." And
exactly.
Sorry, I get $100 every time I say that. You know, so
wait, you're making a lot more money than we are on these podcasts.
I'm cleaning up tonight, right? You know, and every time I get $175 every time I make fun of you because you're Catholic. And but what all do you collect?
It's a touchy subject when you get to talk about Joe and his Catholic upbringing. It's very touchy there. I collect.
Wow, I'm using that.
She's had a couple tonight. The glory hole, and aren't you Catholic? That was a pretty good one too.
It was touchy. That's going on Twitter right the fuck now.
I collect action figures. Anything 80s to early 20s, and then some modern stuff. Right behind me in my studio, I have all my Magic the Gathering cards. So,
nice.
I play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm a huge little nerd. So, and I'm
what kind of action figures do you have?
And I'm currently wearing my Tron,
nice
Transformers T-shirt. I collect everything from Transformers, He-Man, GoBots, mostly My Little Pony. I like anything that's robots and interesting action figures. Like, I got some Jurassic Park stuff, and like,
nice.
I got 3 different Elf dolls, and and some Star Wars Halo helmets, some Black Series stuff.
That's what awesome.
Are you a Star Wars fan?
And a Star Trek fan. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Which one do you like more?
Probably Star Trek. So I don't know. It all depends on the many moods.
So, which was the one that you got dressed up to and went to the little? Was it a Comic-Con thing that you went to?
That's mostly Star Wars. I only cosplay sometimes as Star Wars. I've done Han Solo. I've done Darth Vader. Done Darth Vader on May the 4th, which is coming up tomorrow. In the strip club. So you guys wanted to talk about stories. What stories do you want me to tell you guys?
The best ones.
did you guys listen to the episode where I got hit with a chair?
No, so I you've mentioned it a couple times. So I've heard you reference it a couple times, like a throwback, but I've never heard the full story of when you got hit by the chair.
All right, I'm going to tell you guys the story, and then if your fans like the story, I'm going to encourage them to go listen to my show.
Sure,
for sure,
because I tell the story, but it's been a long time. It was like episode 24 when we first started. So if anybody wants to go back that far, that's how far back it was, season 1.
Okay, cool.
All right, so I was dancing. It was from day to night shift, so it was 7:00 at night. I'm one of the first girls to get ready and be ready for my stage. So I'm at the bar. I have a Moscow Mule, and I'm preparing for the shit show that is always going to happen. I got my favorite blue one piece on. I'm rip roaring ready to go, and it's not even 7 yet. Our DJ, he calls me and another girl up, and I'm on stage 3. So the way the stages are, they're octagon shaped, and they're sort of in a triangle. So stage 1 is the person that picks all the music. And it was a beautiful dancer who only dances to 70s music. She is a free spirit. And so when you're up on the other stages, you just got to go with the flow. Wasn't my music, so I get up there, got my drink, I set it down, and I start dancing. And there's probably, I don't know, 5 people in the whole side besides me and the other dancer that are up on stage. We're dancing, and if you're sitting at the stage, you're looking up at the dancer. And there's probably 4 small poles. They're brass. They're small. And there's a lip around the bar. And there's somebody sitting down at my stage. And that means that person, whoever's sitting at stage, is supposed to tip me. Supposed to. Well, this guy, he's not tipping me. In fact, he is jamming out to the Fleetwood Mac song, Air Drums. Not even air guitar, air drums. And he is hitting it hard. He is having a great time. He's not looking at me. He's just jamming the fuck out. And I'm like, okay, look, motherfucker, I need $2 from you because you've already wasted my time being at my stage. And now it's time for me to get serious. Song number 2 comes on. I get undressed. I'm all excited. I get down on my knees and I go, hi, how's it going? And he looks up at me and he grabs me by my head and he pulls me straight down to the bar. And I'm looking like, what the fuck just happened? Nobody puts their hands on me. You don't touch Pixie. Pixie is no touchy. Don't touch me. So I'm like, pull myself up, and he grabs me by my hair and he pulls me back down to the stage. All right, motherfucker. Now I'm pissed. Now I'm fucking angry. So I take my open palmed hand and I hit him in his ear as hard as possible, over and over and over again until he lets go. Cause he physically had me down. I was like, that's it. So I get up. And I'm louder than any music you could ever play, especially when I get going. I'm like, don't you ever put your... I'm just going off on this guy. I grab my drink. I grab my clothes. Boobs bouncing. I get off stage and you could just hear me. I'm trying to get to the back room to fucking put my mind back together because somebody just put their hands on me. I look over my shoulder. This guy is running at me like a raging fucking bull. I throw my drink, hits him dead center mass. And I start running in heels. And I jump and I flip over these couches that we would do our lap dance on. And I put my arms up above my head to block my face with my forearms. This guy throws a chair straight down on me. There was a customer next to me. He had a stripper on his lap. He pushed her into the customer pushed the dancer into the wall so she wouldn't get hit, but he got hit with the chair on the top of his head. This guy threw 3 chairs that night. The DJ didn't know what was going on. The DJs, the doorman were all the way across the club. They didn't beat him up. This is what I'm angry about. They didn't call the police. They made him sit down next to the manager's office like he was, putting time out. All because this guy was dating the bartender that was working that night, and his name was Tarzan, and she paid for his cab ride home. Yeah.
Nice.
Not nice.
Not nice. I was so mad. My boss goes, "Do you want to stay?" I was like, "No, I want to go home."
We have a thing on this program. We have a thing on this program called Keb's Corporal Punishment. And it's usually reserved for people who drive with their hazards on, or basically wrong me in any way, any fashion that I see fit. That dude deserves Keb Corporal Punishment. So let me tell you what Keb's Corporal Punishment is. St. Joe. I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Keb's Corporal Punishment is dick cut off, lid on fire.
That's at basic. Least.
At least. That pisses me off. He threw 3 fucking chairs?
3 chairs that night.
Wow.
Oh, wait, I was so mad. I was so mad.
Is there only there's no team of bouncers?
Well, we have a manager who's the same size as a doorman, so he's basically a doorman. So it'd be like hanging out with 2 St. Joes, just beating you up.
I don't know if anybody could handle 2 St. Joes.
I mean,
yeah, that's too Catholics.
I mean, it is a touchy subject.
Yeah,
so.
It is. It's pretty bad.
That's pretty good. That's a touchy subject.
Yeah. It was definitely one of those stories that it doesn't happen all of the time. Things like that doesn't happen. I've only seen things happen like that maybe 4 times my whole career. So when it happens, it's usually that person's getting fucked up, allegedly.
Yeah.
Do the girls ever get in fist fights?
All the time. I'm only allowed to beat up 1 stripper per year. Okay. Now, yeah, because I'm a feisty stripper. I always tell people, don't put your hands on me. You need to back up. You need to go away. No, thank you. And I'm very clear about what I allow to happen to myself. I'm very in control, probably 98% of the time, except for when somebody grabs me by my head. I'm like,
yeah.
It was definitely unexpected.
Did he grab the back of your head, or he grab your hair?
My hair. Straight in and pulled me straight down. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You just don't do that.
No. So he, when I hit him with the palm of my hand, allegedly, it really messed up his thinking. He did. That's why he didn't charge at me as quickly and didn't understand what was going on, is because I messed him up pretty good. And then as soon as he regained consciousness, it's all like, all right, that's it. I'm done. Raging Bull. So yeah, it was.
Apparently this guy was stone cold sober.
I don't think so.
No? I mean, because that seems like a totally rational thing to do.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
But those are the stories that I tell on the podcast. I tell about fishing for strippers. I tell about playing the floor is lava. I tell about picking on blind Patreons. I tell a lot of interesting stories. And then Mr. J, he tells stories from the male entertainer's perspective. The certain things that he has experienced that I've never experienced. So I think it's kind of a good mix between the 2 of us.
It is.
And you have on some very interesting guests.
Yes.
You do.
Yes. We have a lot of interesting guests. Like you guys said, we had an escort who used to be a stripper that me and Jay both knew. And she was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, and this might be getting into something that we don't want to get into, but you know what? I never mince words, and I'm not going to fucking start now. The term escort could be construed as another term, as in prostitute, but there is a difference, correct?
Yeah, there is supposedly a difference. An
Allegedly.
allegedly
Right.
escorts, or you're basically taking them out to dinner, and it's more of a time effort. They're not just most. I don't want to say most, but some escorts are definitely not there to sleep with you. They're there to be a showpiece for dinner or a wedding or something. You're paying for their time for them to be there. Now, that's where it gets shady. That's where the lines kind of get drawn from escort to prostitute. So some of these younger girls are thinking that an escort is a prostitute. But the classic term and stuff, an escort really, she doesn't have to fuck you. And so I think that's where the misconception is that you're paying for her time, but she's not in the club.
Yeah, but I think what St. Joe wants to know is, do they?
I know that my friend that was on that episode, she picks and chooses the people she gets intimate with. So not all of her clientele is somebody she's sleeping with.
Mm-hmm. But naturally, if they choose to do that, that's a
if she chooses,
bonus, I guess. Bonus structure.
Bonus structure. Yeah. So, and that's the interesting part about that, is that it's up to the entertainer that is providing that value to the customer. So it's not always a straightforward cut line, because I've known some strippers to even be stripper prostitutes. So, and it's really hard to go, once you go past that line, it's really hard to go back and not go so far with a customer. So I don't even recommend that at all.
Yeah. This is a stupid question. You were in Colorado, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And in the Denver area?
Yes. The Denver metro area. Yes.
The Denver metro area. For those of you that don't know, it's cold there 15 months out of the year.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. We get more sunny days than Florida.
Well, in about 3 weeks here in Florida, it's going to start raining every day.
Yeah, no doubt.
And for those of you that think Florida is the sunshine state, they fucking got you with that fucking marketing.
Yeah.
Thing. It fucking rains here all the time. It's hot as fuck. You pay $900 a day for fucking air conditioning. That 9 times out of 10 doesn't fucking work. And then you go outside, you immediately start sweating. You got to buy 9 fucking bars of deodorant at the fucking store if they have it. It sucked during the pandemic when all the fucking toilet paper was gone. But anyhow, Florida. But you know what? There's no laws down here, so it's cool. I know people in Colorado make fun of us. But we gotta.
I wish Colorado wasn't so uptight. We're becoming more like California, but Florida sounds better. I'd even be okay with a lot more Texan if I could, or even South Dakota, which is very, very
cold.
Fun. Well, hey, yeah, I can handle the cold. I'll just put on more flannel. It'll be fine.
It's all good.
So, I went to Colorado one time. And I got off the plane, and I'm like, "What is all this fucking white shit on the ground? What is this shit? Their sand here is white.
Yeah,
and the
snow.
Keb,
I don't know.
that's snow, Keb. The reason I brought up Colorado is that I know weed's legal out there.
Yes,
like recreationally, right?
Yes,
like you could buy it in the store just like you would buy cigarettes, right?
As long as you have your government state ID, yes, you can, and cash. You have to have cash, no card.
Oh, it's like a lottery ticket.
Yeah. Well, it's not federally legal, so
right.
it can be allegedly, if the government decides that they don't want it, they could just come in and sweep through everybody and take whatever they wanted.
Interesting.
I don't like it.
That's
I don't
so
like that.
dumb.
It's so terrible overreach of government encroaching on states' rights.
So it's more. I'm not using this term politically. I'm using it literally. It's more liberal out there, meaning not as uptight as Florida, or way not as uptight as Georgia, but not everything's legal out there, right?
Right.
So it's not Nevada.
No, not
Okay.
Nevada. We don't have brothels or yeah. And if a strip club happens to sell alcohol, the strip club is going to be topless, not completely nude.
That's the same as here, so I've heard. Say, Joe, why don't you know, right?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
That's not where you go on Sunday morning?
No.
Okay. I'm interested in how somebody in one of your establishments gets paid. I know you work for tips.
Cash.
Do you guys get like a salary or?
Nope.
Straight cash, homie.
Straight cash. It is a cash revenue business, and you are considered your own independent contractor. You don't have, there's no insurance. If you get hurt on the job, that's it. You're done.
Wow.
You're totally screwed. So you better save your money.
Wow. I want to change gears here just for a second and talk about something that I know a lot of people here are interested. We have had a number of our listeners who have, I don't know if inspired is the right word, but have started their own podcasts, and are doing pretty well. I mean, they're pretty, entertaining, one in particular. And, and it doesn't take much to entertain me. Come on. I mean, I listen to all different, I listen to you guys. I listen to, we talk about pedals of support all the time, and that's way different than, I would say that us and your podcast probably share the same type of audience, to where, we are mainly, and I know you're a big statistic person, we are mainly a little older, but mainly male listenership, and I'm quite certain that you guys probably are too, maybe.
I was going to say, most of our listeners are 25 to 55 men who like to tip beautiful individuals. We don't really get very many female listeners. So earlier you guys were alluding to that maybe we have strippers that are listening to the podcast. Probably not. I don't know what it is. When you type in Next on Stage One, or you type in, if you type in stripper podcast into Google, Next on Stage One doesn't come up. And it's something with our SEO that we definitely need to fix.
Oh, we need to fix ours too, because if you type in unfiltered, man, you ain't finding us.
No.
We're like, we 80th. Even put the and the podcast to try to be different, and for branding purposes, we probably should change the name, but fuck them.
At this point, you guys are already a year and how long in? Yeah, don't change it. Don't change a thing.
Oh, it's the brand now. We got merch with sayings on it and with people's pictures on it, and
go
like
fuck
that.
Yourself. I mean,
we actually have. I don't know if you can see behind me the hashtag thing, and it's a hashtag that us and another podcast are trying to get going, and we actually have a shirt that has that on there. And a bunch of our different little catchphrases that our advertisers pay yours truly to say, and not say Jar Beeps, what made you want to start a podcast? Was it the pandemic, or?
I wanted to start a podcast because I wanted to tell my side of the story, because everybody has their preconceived notions of what a stripper should be or what's going on behind the curtain. So I was like, you know what? I've never had a bad time being a stripper. I know what I like. I know what I've experienced. And I think I could maybe fill some sort of time with the jokes and the stuff that I have to tell. And then when my co-host said, hey, do you want to start a stripper? He asked me if I wanted to start a podcast about action figures, and I said, what a great idea. Let's also start a podcast about strippers. And it was just, we had 3 shows in the beginning and only one of them made it. So, I mean, you get a little bit ambitious in the beginning and you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the better one probably won out.
Yeah. Well, there's almost a whole year of pop culture perspective that has not gotten released.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's about, back when this thing was called Keb Unfiltered, there's probably 20 or 25 so episodes of basically me screaming at the rain, you know, and telling really, really, really stand-up jokes that didn't work on stage, you know.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Huh?
Nobody wants to hear that.
No, trust me. The ratings went up when you and Beebs came on, you know. but I know that you help a lot of podcasters. You're passionate about podcasting. Like I was saying, that we have a number of listeners that have started their own podcast. One in particular is doing pretty well. Can you? I know you host every Wednesday.
12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I don't do numbers for other people.
Okay.
They're like, what is that in
pretty sure
Central
that's
Standard
2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Like, I don't even know. I don't even know.
and it's on Twitter Spaces, right?
Yes. And for those of you that don't know, Twitter has their own audio chat rooms. It's like we're living in AOL days. It's pretty fucking fantastic. I get a whole bunch of podcasters together. We answer dumb questions that I have about podcasting, and some of the best minds about podcasting come in, answer questions, and help me work through things, because I'm a project when it comes to podcasting and I don't know everything.
I tell you, if to our listeners out there, if you're thinking about starting your own podcast about whatever you specialize in, or if you're like me and you specialize in nothing, then you know, I didn't know this when I started, because I started getting on Twitter because mainly, I mean, I've been on there since the beginning of Twitter, but I really started in 2015 and 16 because because of the election, everybody was like at odds with each other. And I decided to put my stupid one-liner jokes on Twitter and just try to bring light to the world, maybe give somebody a chuckle. But it was my way of telling people who have to take social media to argue about something that they have no way to change, just basically to tell them to go fuck themselves. I got another $50. And, you know, and that's where I started. Never did I think that when, you know, we decided to do this, that Twitter would become such I don't want to say a necessity, but it's a good place to, for camaraderie between podcasters. Now, and I'm getting to my question for you.
Back to the unfiltered.
What's important to us is building an audience, you know, and we've done pretty good job of doing that. And it can always be better, but it can be way worse too. And we've done that. And I don't know if, you know, Twitter helps you build that audience, but it certainly makes you recognizable. It certainly puts your brand out there as you grow and keeps you visible. Follow me?
Yeah.
So do you think Twitter or social media just in general is good at building an audience rather than building a brand?
Well, for me, I've been banned on Facebook so many times, makes my head spin. And I also got a stern warning from Getter, if that tells you anything. So I wasn't really sure about how to build my brand a little over a year ago. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do or where I was going because I have like less than 300 friends on fucking Facebook. So it was interesting to see that when I got on Twitter, I had the wrong content. I was like you, posting my one-liner adult pictures for the world to see, and it wasn't gaining any traction. It was people didn't they were like, "Oh, she's just this kind of content." And I really wanted people to know my podcast, to know what was going on behind. So I kind of quickly changed what I was tweeting out. It was basically, "Hey Twitter, where are the cat videos? Hey Twitter, what kind of hardwoods should I use?" It was nonsense, and I didn't know how to work Twitter when I first started. But as I started gaining momentum, I started picking up podcasters and talking to them. And realistically, I started building sort of a community around me of podcasters because I didn't know what I was doing. So as I was building, as I was growing, as I was learning all of these different things from people, there was a problem with it. And the problem is that all of these people who have come before me put all of their emotional podcasting baggage on me. And so I kind of took all of that, and as Twitter Spaces opened, I started having spaces with other podcasters because there was none. And once I started having these spaces and learning from all of these people, I quickly developed like my own thought process of what people were saying and then what people were doing. So I was able to ask them questions and say, "Well, why aren't you doing this?" Or "Why do you have your profile set up like that?" And it made it, I don't consider myself as like a leader or anything, just a person who's asking dumb questions. Cause I treat my account like I have 100 followers and they're all my fucking best friends.
If you don't call yourself a leader, I definitely think you might be the ringleader.
I say, so one of my friends, he's not on Twitter because he got banned. Fumble Penis
It
Podcast.
Happens to the best of us. I've gotten put in a timeout a time or two.
Yeah. Fumble Penis Podcast called me a social media menace because every time he opened up any of the apps, there was my dumb face. And he's all like, "What is she doing?" So more like a shenanigan coordinator. I get all of these unruly podcasters together in a space where we can just have a discussion. And I think that's what podcasters are missing. I feel like we don't get to talk to one another and we're sort of in our own echo chamber.
I think I love Twitter. You guys know I'm on it all the time.
I don't love all of Twitter.
Well,
no.
See, that's the part that I like because I like getting into it with the people. That's why Mike Freeman from CBS Sports has blocked me. And, don't talk shit about the Jacksonville Jaguars. We know we suck, and, but, that's why, other people have blocked me, and that's fine. I'm not toning it down because that's personally my brand, you know what I'm saying? And that's, it took me 40 years really to be myself, you know what I'm saying? And there's no way I'm turning back, so, I mean, if you got a problem with that there, I mean, let me know. I'll send St. Joe over to thump you on the forehead. That's another thing I have to say every time. But, when you talk about your Twitter spaces, I remember early on when everybody's trying to figure out, man, what the fuck is this thing on the top of the Twitter? And I would see you in there and I'd jump in and there's like 5 people in there. Right. And so I'm like, I ain't talking, because they're all like, prim and proper. I think Tim was in there from,
love Tim from 2010 Minutes. Oh
yeah,
my God.
He was
so
in
good.
there. And I'm like, but I'm listening. And a couple times I even caught St. Joe, creeping in there and listening. And but now you look on that Wednesday call There's all kinds of people up in there. That has grown.
I'm getting anywhere on a slow day, which has got 23 people to 53 people in a space. And that's a lot of people that are podcasters, people who want to know more about podcasting, that are just jumping in. I can tell you that it's a huge resource for people just to be able to ask questions.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I think that's cool that you're doing that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but like if you wanted to record one of your episodes on Twitter Spaces and have maybe your listeners interact, like, dare I say, a call-in show, you could do that too, correct?
Correct. For I think 10 weeks we did Next on Stage 1 in the Twitter Space. We only got like 8 people coming in. They just weren't listening. I don't know if it was because it's the weekend. There are better times and days for Twitter Spaces than and the weekend it didn't work very well for us. We were recording it. I do record my Twitter Spaces for other people to be able to interact and be able to listen to the show afterwards, because there's a lot of valuable, real information for podcasters on there.
In your opinion, and contrary to popular belief out there, we've gotten a couple of these fucking comments and shit like that. We do not endorse any particular podcast player. So you know who you are out there that sent me a DM. You can go fuck yourself, and saying that we endorse a particular one. We do not. Personally, and this might shock a lot of people, but personally, the Keb Lives, listens to his podcasts on Apple Podcasts, because I have CarPlay in my car. And so I plug it in and I go. I know a lot of people listen to Spotify. I know a lot of people listen. One of our hosts, Beebs, he listens on Google Podcasts. A lot of these, I know, Good Pods is pretty popular, but there's a number of them out there that you can listen to. iHeartRadio. That's a big one. Do you have a favorite one that you listen to, or?
I just tell people you can find the podcast where available.
Right.
And then I usually use a link or two from different places, and that's a good way to know where your listeners are coming from. So if you use Apple link on your Twitter, most of the time that's people are coming from Twitter. And if you use Spotify on Instagram, you can know that those people came most of the time from the link on Instagram. You can drive traffic to your podcast and then go back to your analytics and see where they're coming from.
What we've tried to do is we took the time out of our horribly busy schedules and we created a website. And we try to drive traffic to there. You can listen to the podcast on the website.
I did, but you had like 3 minutes of commercials that I could not skip.
We do?
Yeah, I played it today, and there was commercials.
We got to fix that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to call my guy to call his guy to call the other guy. And tell him to go fuck himself, and all that good stuff. Anyhow, so do you think it's important as a podcast to have a website and or something like that?
Yes, it is very important that somebody has a landing page. Now what you put on the landing page can vary, but it definitely needs to have links, or at least who's running the show, where can they find it, things that you're talking about on the show. It's very important for your SEO to tell people what your podcast is about. Even if it's just a link tree, you need to have all of your links together for other people to be able to click through and find you easy. You have to remove how many clicks it takes to get to the podcast. But right. Yes, I do recommend people have a web page.
Especially if, remember that, St. Joe, the easiest way, because even if your name shares their name with 4 million other fucking podcasts.
Like certain Joe that I know. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
But I caught you on TikTok.
Yes.
You know, and I think you followed me back too.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you did.
I think so. Yeah.
You're you every time I turn on the damn TikTok, you're on there.
Social media menace.
Is that do you find TikTok's important to podcasting? Because we've been using it for
I hate TikTok. I fucking hate it. I hate having to put makeup on my face and be funny or interesting or create content. My followers on TikTok are definitely even more men demographic than anything else. It's a very high number of men, and I'm not following all of them back.
I could only imagine the direct messages you get.
Well, if you don't follow them, they can't send you a direct message. So that's one of my keys.
Gotcha.
I make sure I look at their page first, and then I follow them, if I follow them. Right. So having podcaster name in your profile will definitely increase your odds of me following you back.
Well, we got put in a timeout on TikTok too. You know? So what's funny is we got put in a timeout on TikTok for a video we posted or a clip, you know, just a headliner clip that we posted on there in December that they put us in a timeout for it, but they didn't remove the video.
Yeah.
Huh.
You know, it was very strange. You got a couple of comments that it could be construed. That's not what we were trying to say, but it's an unfiltered podcast and it could be construed one way or another. But what it taught us was that we might be too old for TikTok. You know, you know, we might be these people.
Same.
Take things way, way too seriously.
Yeah.
You know.
But that's the next generation, those young whippersnappers that are on TikTok. If you want to know where your followers are, if your followers are older gentlemen or older individuals, Facebook. If they're our age, in their 40s, Twitter. And then if, let's say some of those people are going to be on Instagram, but 20 to 30 somethings are going to be on Instagram. And then younger generations are going to be on that TikTok. So know your audience. If you want single females, if you want a lot of female audience, you want to break into that, it's going to be Pinterest. If you want a business audience, you want to go to LinkedIn. So there's plenty of ways to find your audience for what you're looking for. And if you can't find your audience, hook up with other podcasters and do a collaboration like we're doing today.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So, well, cool. Pixie, we want to thank you for coming on. We really do. We enjoyed listening to your smiling voice tonight, and I know our listeners. For our listeners, can you tell them where to? This is the part of the show where we let you just brag about yourself.
Oh,
you know?
Oh yeah. And, I'm 5 foot, big boobs, big ass, red hair, feisty. I claw people. You know, I make a lot of dumb jokes. My podcast is Next on Stage 1. My co-host, his name is Mr. J. You can find us on any platform because as being a social media menace, I like to make sure I'm everywhere. If you Google me, like I do all the time, I Google myself. If you typed in Next on Stage 1, Pixie, you will find my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything, the podcast. If you want to interact with me, the best place is going to be Twitter, which is at Next on Stage 1, which you'll see my beautiful shining smiley face and sometimes spicy content. My Twitter page is just for shenanigans and terrible memes. That's how I like to promote my podcast.
Nice. It's a very good podcast. We enjoy it very much. And
if you follow, and then if you follow, then
break.
if you follow and then unfollow me, I'm unfollowing you. Just so you know.
People do that
all the time. I posted my Hello Twitter post, and I had the topless at 10K photo that me and Nick did.
Right.
And 8 people unfollowed me. I was like, you didn't know that I was a stripper and that I was going to maybe post spicy content? And now you're unfollowing me? Get out of here.
I don't even pay attention to who unfollows us. I just think, I said something stupid, so they just went away. I mean, they're, but I mean, our Twitter, like the Unfiltered Podcast Twitter, at UNF Pod, is a lot more tame than if you jump on over to Keb Libs. You're either going to get me arguing with somebody, or you're going to get a bunch of Atlanta Brave shit. I mean. But I mean, basically, UNF Pod is for the brand, and then if I want to say something dumb or get in an argument with somebody or tell a off-color joke or a racy joke,
it's coming from you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Far be it for me to embarrass the Catholic. They don't need any help with that.
Speaking of the Catholic, St. Joe, how is your content on Twitter? Is it spicy?
Oh,
is it touchy?
It can be. Yeah, it can be. Yeah, it gets a little iffy every now and then. Last week I had a picture of me holding a giant cock in a Pope hat, so yeah, I got into it with another podcaster. We shared some fun memes.
Since the Beeb is not here, can I tell some terrible religious
oh my God,
jokes?
Please.
Oh, hell
please.
Yeah.
All right. This is bonus content, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Why doesn't Jesus eat Skittles?
Why?
Because he can't keep the Skittles from falling through his hands.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
All right. No, I got like I got a whole string of Jesus jokes. Okay.
Okay.
So, why do women love Jesus?
I don't know.
Your guys can't see me on here, but he's hung like this.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. But funny.
Beebs,
yes.
This is for you, dog.
Yeah, so sorry, Beebs. Taking over. Okay, I got 2 more. So
okay.
How does Jesus bite his nails? And you guys can't I'll have to like post a picture of like me biting my nails.
Bite his nails. Oh God.
I mean it depends, and it really depends on how he was hung. Either through the hand or through the wrist.
Oh God.
Scripture is really kind of weird. Okay, one more before I run away with this. Okay, so Jesus is up on the cross, and he's looking down, and there's a crowd full of people, and he looks out into the audience, and he sees Paul out there. He goes, Paul, come here. I need you. And Paul's looking up and he goes, I'm coming, Jesus. And he's pushing his way through the crowd. And he's getting closer. And Jesus is up there on the cross. And he goes, Paul, come here. I need you. It's like, yes, Jesus, I'm coming. And he's pushing old ladies out of the way. He's pushing little children out of the way. He's like, I'm coming, Jesus. Hey, and Jesus is up there on the cross. And he goes, Paul, come here. I really need you. Hurry. And Paul pushes this all the way through the front of the line, and he drops down on his knees. And he goes, yes, Jesus, what do you need? And he goes, Paul, I can see your house from here.
Oh, God. Oh, my gosh. Oh, those are 4 jokes I'm going to tell Beebs till I die.
Oh, yeah. He'll see, you don't know the text messages we're going to get tomorrow.
Oh, man.
How dare you? No, I go
funny.
When I go to the strip club, that's what I ask customers. Do you have any good, terrible jokes? Those are not the jokes I lead with, because not everybody, because I've been told by bartenders at the strip club, get out of here. Just get out of here.
Funny. Those are good jokes.
Okay, well, if we're telling terrible jokes, I got one. So, Pixie, I locked my keys in my car today. And It wasn't in a bad part of town, and it was in front of a Planned Parenthood office. And I'm not going to start any like political shit or anything like that. I just didn't want to go in there and ask for a hanger.
Oh my gosh. That's just terrible, Kevin.
How about that Roe versus Wade? Terrible. Did you guys see that? All right, I'm not going to get political because I don't get political on my page or in my podcast.
Neither do we.
But as soon as that was leaked, fencing went up.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Like they are expecting
like you're talking about fencing around the Capitol. You're not talking about like people watching like two sword fighters.
Yeah, fencing. Yeah. Wow. It's going to be an interesting affair that's going to go on. Yeah. So
yeah, everybody, put your money under your mattress, and be sure to hoard that toilet paper. And it's amazing that COVID's up and disappeared.
Can I tell Pixie my favorite joke?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Okay, Pixie.
Pixie. I'm going to preface this. This is like top 5 my favorite one-liners.
Okay, bring it on.
You will tell this joke to many people from now on.
And I don't know. Usually with me, it's like the stupidest shit that I find hilarious. Like I can't keep it the fuck together. It's the dumbest shit. And this one's right up that alley.
Yeah. So this will be. I know I'm not going to say this will be your new favorite joke, but I think that you'll tell it to other people. So after the Jesus jokes that you just told me, I think you'll appreciate this one. But do you know how to get a nun pregnant?
No, I don't know how to get a nun pregnant.
You fuck her.
Okay.
I mean,
straightforward, isn't it?
I mean, right there.
All right, on that note, we're gonna call it Pixie. Thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. This has been fun.
It has been a blast. Again, Pixie, next on Stage 1 is her podcast, and we will put a link in the show notes for you.
Perfect.
Cool. Thank you, and we will talk to you soon, okay?
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
That's awesome.
There she goes. There she goes. She's writing something. She's still
writing
on there.
Something on the camera.
Probably still hear us.
She's blowing kisses and doing everything. Who knows what's going on?
St. Joe, before we get out of here, is there any other podcast you want to piss off this week?
No, I don't. I don't want to piss off anybody this week.
Are there any? Well, that being said, are there any midgets you want to step on?
No midgets.
Any puppies you want to kick? Any serial killers you like to give a high five to? Any people in Germany you want to euthanize?
Nobody.
Any baby seals that you want to hit with the club?
Nobody there.
Anything like that? Any Native American burial grounds you want to desecrate?
Nope, nothing.
Any 1987 Kias that you need to run your key down?
Nope.
Okay. One last thing. Are there any pregnant women you want to call fat?
No, nothing like that.
No. Any old people you need to steal a fucking walker from?
Nope. I'm good.
All right. Okay. I'm just fucking with you.
All right.
We're going to forego the stupid tweet of the week because those were the stupid fucking one-liners of the week. We want to thank Pixie from Next on Stage 1 for joining us. She was very gracious. She's actually still hanging out with us, and I'm going to ask her to hold right there before we get out of here, because she knows the rules to this thing that we're recording on here. But you can find us at unfpod.com, at unfpod, basically everywhere else except for Instagram, _UNF_pod. You can find St. Joe at St. Joe UNF Pod. Please go follow Beebs UNF Pod. The dude's got like 9 fucking followers. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, get him in the conversation, people. I don't know what the fuck I got to do to get out there. I got blocked by the favorite person to fucking argue with, she finally said, "Fuck this guy." And I was sitting in the fucking. I went to see The Batman, which is a movie about a man that dresses like a fucking bat. Apparently, his parents died, and I fucking go see that, and I'm fucking with you guys. You guys are tweeting me and all this. I'm trying to back my boys, and what do I do? Blocked.
Yep.
Blocked. Yep. I know that happened like a month and a half ago, but I'm still pissed off about it because I like to argue with people. So, you know, all that. But what do you do, St. Joe? What do you do?
Nothing. There's nothing you can do.
Okay. So we're at UNF Pod everywhere. We suck on Facebook. We're big on Twitter. I don't want to say we're big on Twitter, but we like to argue with people on Twitter. At Beebs at UNF blocked you.
That's pretty funny. Okay. We're pretty big on Twitter, and
you know, So anyhow, let's get out. We're gonna forego stupid tweet of the week. If you tuned in just for the stupid tweet of the week, I don't know what to fucking tell you, but you waited a long fucking time to hear fucking one fucking tweet. So for Pixie, for Beebs, for St. Joe, my name is the Keb, and we will catch you guys next week.
Masses end it.